In yesterday's video, I talked about the best settings you should be using for hitting, pitching, and fielding in MLB The Show 24. But today, I want to go a little bit more in-depth to the hitting side of things, specifically the PCI. Let's talk about what you should be using for your PCI settings to help you hit a lot more perfect bombs. The one thing I recommend though is even before trying these settings or before you even hop into a regular online game, always go into custom practice for like 10 minutes and you'll see significant improvements, especially online. So hidden view, you got to use strike zone, or strike zone high is also good. It's just a little bit different than strike zone. I always stick to strike zone just because it's the closest view. So even the pitch may seem like it's coming in a little bit faster, it also helps me kind of decipher if the pitch is going to be a ball or not, especially reading those borderline pitches that are just off the plate. And it helps me read what the pitch is a little bit more, whether it's a fastball, curveball, cutter, whatever it may be. And I feel like the general consensus among people is they have that kind of same opinion of strike zone. It just significantly helps them overall in all aspects of the game. The other must-have you should have is hitting interface. It has to be on zone. It's going to give you the most user input. So basically, zone is going to be this little yellow thing in the middle. That's going to be your PCI, and it represents the barrel of the bat. So you use the left analog stick to move this to where you think that pitch is going to be, and then you swing. But if you can barrel it up pretty good, your exit velos are going to be higher. You got a much larger chance at a perfect, hitting some nukes. Compared to buttons or whatever, you're just going to hit some wimpy fly balls. So strike zone and zone are really the only things that I say you have to use because they're just going to help you significantly more than anything else. Oh, same with buttons. Buttons just means that X is going to be normal, square is going to be power, circle is going to be contact swing. Always stick with X. If you use circle like I'm about to right here, it takes away all power. If you hit a perfect like that ball barely left the infield. And then if I use square and try to power swing, my chances of even making contact with the ball or check swinging just go way down like that. Just always stick with X. It's going to be the best of both worlds. And if you square it up, the ball's going to fly on its own. And then your PCI is really just going to be personal preference. PCI anchor, I always have this on a preset. Basically what this means, if I hold L3, I can rest a pitch somewhere that I am struggling. So if I'm struggling up and in, it's just getting blown by me, I can rest my PCI right there. I don't got to move anything, and then I can just kind of move it around. It just makes it a lot easier to catch up to those pitches that maybe you're not seeing too well. PCI dots, you can have this on, you can have it not on. It's going to be the same thing regardless. Basically, it's just the dots are not there, but it still works. So you put it in the right top corner or wherever you're struggling with, you just don't see the dots. It doesn't matter. And then plate coverage indicator, that's your PCI. Always have that on. And then you really have a lot of customization with it. PCI center, right now I have the bat, but you can do circles, you can do diamond, none, altitude, which is just, I don't know, this weird fucking thing in the middle. So I keep a lot of these main settings the same, but I change my PCI all the time, especially when I'm struggling. Like right now, I'm using bat. Give it a week. If I start going into a slump for 3 games, I'll switch it to diamonds. I'll switch it to altitude. Whatever I can find to feel comfortable and start hitting again. Because it's all about field. Right now, I got bat. PCI inner, you got wedge, which is weird. Basic, fishbowl, none, starfighter. I'm gonna use fishbowl. It's all basically just the same concept where it's just like a circle outside of the PCI. So for right now, I'm gonna stick with bat PCI center, fishbowl PCI inner. PCI outer, I always have as none because otherwise all PCI outer does is kind of show you your territory of where you can foul a pitch off, which if I miss a pitch so bad that it's way out the PCI, I don't deserve to fucking hit it anyways. So I always have that as done, but you can have it as outline, reverb, whatever, a couple options. And this is just kind of what it looks like. It's just a big outside circle. For some people, it helps. For me, it's just way too much going on, and I have a hard time focusing on the center of that bat. So for me, it's always on none, and then you can customize your PCI as much as you want in terms of PCI color. I always have it as yellow, but you can do black, blue, cyan, green, magenta, ocean, orange, red, spring green, violet, white. They have a lot of different choices that you can do. I feel like white's a weird one just because it kind of blends in with the baseball. So I'm not really sure how people kind of line the two together. Apparently worked out really well. I hit a single. But I like to go with yellow And then your PCI opacity. Opacity, for those of you who don't know, it basically just means how light it is. So the lower it is, the lighter it is. So if I have it at 40%, you'll see that it's very, very faded compared to what it was at 70%. This is for if you just don't want distractions or anything like that. I usually recommend having it between 50 and probably 100%. You saw what it looked like at 40, 70. This is what it's gonna look like at 100%. So it's a lot more vibrant, a lot brighter. You can see it really, really well. For some people, that's distracting. For others, it helps them hit really well. I like going directly in the middle and just keeping it at 70%, just so you have a little bit of fade. It's not too bright. It's not drawing my attention directly to it, but at the same time, I can see it. I can line the ball up, especially with the yellow with the ball. Apparently not, because I'm sucking. Dude, if you create YouTube videos, you know how hard it is to play a game and to talk about you playing the game. It is not an easy task, but we finally get a perfect with Yelly. That ball, get up, get out of here, off the wall. Bob Uecker called, didn't do anything for me there. And then PCI fade out, I have at none. But these are what my settings are in MLB The Show 24 PCI wise. These are going to help you get the most perfect, have the most user input, and should lead to some success hitting wise. If these are new PCI settings to you, I definitely recommend going into custom practice. And even if they aren't and you've played the game and just want to know some better PCI settings to help you out a little bit, go into custom practice, especially if you've had 2-3 games struggling. Like I told you earlier in the video, if I'm going through a slump, I change my PCI stuff all the time. I'll change PCI center to circles. I'll change fishbowl to none. I'll just change about everything to find something I am comfortable with. Then I'll go on a 10-game stretch where I hit really well. Then maybe I struggle again, switch things up. It's going to be all about feel, but don't be scared to try new things. Just hop into custom practice, try them out. What you should be doing anyways is going in here and changing the hitting difficulty to either Hall of Fame or Legend. So I know the ball's going to get blown by me a very large majority of the time, and I might struggle hitting the ball. But what it's going to do is if I can learn in 10 minutes practicing this, even if I don't make good contact, see how small my PCI is? My God, how do people play on this? But if I can learn to lay off pitches like that and get my timing at least close to where my PCI is kind of like getting to the ball, so we finally took a pitch there. When you hop into an actual game like BR, like ranked seasons, and you are playing on all-star difficulty, right there, I am very late. But if I go into the all-star, I'm either going to be very early or I'm going to be right on time. It's going to be so much easier for me to time up those pitches, and it's going to feel like the ball's coming in super slow. But let me know if these PCI settings help you out. Do you use custom practice as much as you should? Let me know in the comments section. And also, let me know any other videos you'd like to see. Subscribe to the channel. Road to 5,000 subscribers. The goal is to hit that by the end of April. I don't know, man. We'll see. MLB The Show 24 is here. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.